A very warm welcome to my channel. I am Shanti, and in this video I wanted to talk about this beautiful, powerful book, The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates. So obviously this book was written before the divorce happened, so at least on the cover it's still Melinda Gates. So this book is, I've known this for quite a while and I had the intention of reading it, but I never really got around to reading nor buying it. But recently, multiple factors sort of converged, which led me to buying this book and reading it. So, what are those factors? Is first thing is I find myself increasingly drawn towards understanding feminism. So, the experiences of my daily life and understanding some realities that were hidden or that were not very apparent as a child, they start becoming apparent. So I am a lot curious about understanding feminism, the history of it, and the theories and everything. So that is one thing. Second thing is recently I saw a clip where Melinda Gates was asked a question about Epstein files, and the kind of answer, the way she handled that question, it sort of felt very powerful, and it just kind of struck a chord with me, kind of. And I felt like, I think I should know more about the kind of, ideas she has and the kind of thinking that she has. So that was one reason. And finally, another reason is that I am, our education is something that becomes a part of our identity. Like our brains start thinking in a certain way, start operating in a certain way with respect to the kind of education we had. So if you are a science student, you're a math student, or social science or art student, all these things really, it changes the way we approach things in real life, the way we think, the way our mind is set. And I can see that happening with me, and I can see that distinct way of thinking as an engineer. And the fact that a lot of feminism topics and things are usually discussed and debated and analyzed by non-science people, I felt like that was creating a sort of disconnect with my thoughts or the kind of thinking that I have. And I felt like, Melinda Gates would be a better read because she is an engineer, but she's also in that line of work where she understands feminism more than I do, in the sense of, the broad kind of view, you know. Yeah, so that is another reason that I felt that I want to read about feminism, but I also want to read about feminism in a way that resonates with my way of thinking. So these were all the reasons that led me to, finally buy and read this book. So about this book, I didn't want to do a lot of, reading out, but there's just one thing that I want to read out. It's just a couple of sentences. If you don't set your own agenda, somebody else will. If you don't fill your schedule with things that you felt were important, other people would fill your schedule with things they felt were important. And this is such a powerful thing for me because I felt it happening in my life. There were things that I felt were important, not just for me, but for, everybody else as well. And these were things that I was not able to assert, because I was constantly in the habit of accommodating everybody else's needs or everybody else's ideas. And we were all suffering because I was not brave enough, or I was not assertive enough to put forth my ideas, to put forth my opinion about what should be the better way or what I think, right? So this sentence really, it really, yeah, I I just like the fact that I found this book after I read this sentence. So, and as I went through the book, obviously there was a point of time where I felt a little skeptical, because the book was written like she was talking about the work that the foundation was doing, which is a touchy topic, right? Because charity itself, of course, forget about that particular organization, the Gates Foundation, forget about that. The concept of charity itself is such a touchy topic, especially at least for me, because there are a lot of discussions and debates about whether or not charity, the way we do charity or the systems of charity, are they really helping people, or are they perpetuating the systems, or are they taking these things in a regressive direction, right? So there are still a lot of things, and I, for one, have a lot of conflicting ideas about what charity means to me, right? From the mainstream ideas, I find myself very conflicted to that. So I was a little skeptical when I was reading this work, uh, especially the idea of a multimillionaire doing charity, and the fact that, do they even know what is happening here? Do they understand the depth of these issues, or are they just being, are they just doing it for representation, kind of like an image? So all these things run in your mind when you read about these things, right? But the way she has written it, you can see that she is very, she's genuinely interested, and she genuinely cares about these things. Not because, it's not like caring for something that is not your concern, but understanding that there's a lot of interconnection with, we are all interconnected. How much ever we feel that, we're not interconnected, we're all interconnected. And you can see that she cares for these things, for these issues, not just out of a superiority complex key, yes, now my life is all good, so now I'll go and help others. It's not that kind of attitude. It's the attitude where you understand that we are all related, we are all interconnected, and so it is my responsibility to understand these things and do what is required for my part. So you can see that kind of genuine care, and she's not trying to do things on the surface level, like she is actually going there, and she's like trying to understand what is the thing that is perpetuating certain systems, or things like that. And that really got me into accepting the kind of things that she was talking about. Also, she said at one point that she was lucky that the goals and aspirations that she had aligned with her parents. Like, her parents also want that for her, the society around her also want that for her. So she's fortunate enough that she was able to achieve or work on her goals and everything. But she understands that it's not going to be that for every girl, especially for most girls. Your ideas, like as an individual, a girl's ideas are going to mostly misalign with people around her, with society around her. And in those kind of situations, standing up for what you really believe is required for you, what is really good for you, that that is where strength lies. And that is what she recognizes. And she talks about how she's inspired by a lot of these strong women that she was witnessing, speaking up for themselves or speaking up their rights and all. So you can see a lot of that happening here, a lot of humility. Of course, I do understand that not everybody would look at it that way, but that's just how I felt. And as far as the book is concerned, uh, what are the kind of things that you can expect is she's talking about. So, what are the different kinds of areas in which women uh, women areas, right? So what are the things that affect women more? So I'll just read these out a bit. First chapter is maternal and newborn health. Second is family planning. Third, girls in school. Fourth, unpaid work. Fifth, child marriage. Six, women in agriculture. Seven, women in the workplace. So these are all the areas, issues that she's talking about. And as privileged women, in the sense that people who've gone to college, people who are able to do jobs and all. So let us call all of these as privileged women. I know there's a lot of you know uh, privilege within this privileged class of women, but let's just, for the argument, for this book, for the discussion of this book, let's call everybody who has a college education, who is who can easily have a college education. Like, it is common in the circle to have a college education, and who can work, right? It is accepted for women to work. So in that kind of societies, that kind of privilege, we often we often think only about a few issues, right? And these issues mostly being um, sexism in workplace, or the domestic share of, like, household works, how it is being shared within the household. So these are the two main issues that you often see privileged women talking about. But when you read this book, you will realize that a lot of things that we take for granted uh, have come to us very recently. And these 100 and 200 years, it has seen a rapid growth in these things, but it also means that these systems are still very unstable, or they've not, they're still nascent, and it's easy, very easy to pull back all these systems, to destroy all these systems. And so instead of talking about sexism in workplaces or domestic share of work, we will be talking about, we're gonna go back and talk about things like basic health, childbirth, all these things we're going to be talking about, if we don't understand that these systems are still nascent and can be destroyed very easily by forces, that are trying to pull back women, that are trying to pull back societies. So I felt that reckoning, kind of, कि I cannot just focus on these issues that are affecting me only. The fact that I have this privilege to think beyond means that I need to think beyond, right? So, and it's also like the majority of people, I don't know, maybe if it's majority or not, I don't know, but there's still a huge amount of population, women population, who are still struggling with basic things like, family planning or childbirth issues, or not being able to go to school or college. So these are very basic issues, and a lot of people are still struggling with that all around the world. And when something somewhere is happening, maybe it's like halfway across the globe or something, or too far away for you, it's still happening, and that can still affect you maybe after a while, right? Or in ways that you don't really understand, right? So these are the kind of things that that really felt like, yeah, I mean, you need to expand the kind of issues that you're focusing on. Yes, of course, you need to focus on these immediate issues that are troubling you, but you also keep in mind that there are larger issues at place, which are probably the reason that these issues are not able to go forward, right? So we need to address things from the root as well. So it really helped me expand on my focus areas, kind of. And it made me also understand, get a broader perspective of what are all the things that give women, that that have helped women to grow, to progress, right, as a society, as a civilization. So this is what I was able to understand. And that is about this book. I am pretty sure that whatever I've talked is still very less compared to what you can find in this book, because uh, we all have different perspectives. We all, like, since there are a lot of issues that are here, each of us will resonate with different issues. So, and also, this is my first read. Uh, so these were the things that I was able to identify in my first read, in my limited perspective. But I'm sure that you, as a person with your perspective and the kind of background that you have, it will definitely affect the way that you understand or you perceive this book. So, but whatever the case, I feel like it is an important book, because I don't think there is a book, at least I don't know of a book, which is, covering all of these areas, all of the things that women need to focus on in such a few number of pages. It's a pretty it's not a very short book, like it is 260 pages. It's not just the pages, it's just the kind of it's written in a very easy language, so you're not gonna feel like this is too heavy. There's too many things, or too much of thinking is required to understand this. So it's not like that. It's a quite easy read, and it's quite less number of pages. So I don't think there is a book so comprehensive, covering all of these wide range of topics. So yes, that is about the book. I hope that I encouraged you to read this book, and that is all for this video. See you on the next video.